Okay.
So Evulpo, we make the world a smarter place. Thanks a lot for the introduction, and I'm really happy to be here. You organized it very well. I have to say it's my first time. A great job. I'm also really proud to be here, especially, of course, to share the stage with entrepreneurs like Julian Teike or Felix Oswald that we have seen in the last minutes. I mean, to both I have some connections. To Julian, for example, he's co-founder at VFox. Is Dario Foslic, and Dario Foslic is one of our first investors and the president of the board. And another connection to Julian is, for example, that in the beginning when they founded DynDeal, I was writing the first texts for their websites. And I always say, hey Dario, look, without these texts, DynDeal wouldn't happen, and without DynDeal, VFox wouldn't happen. And so altogether I was at the beginning, I'm a little bit joking of course, but probably there's a grain of salt in it. And with Felix, I'm also in the Edutech field, so there's the connection to Felix. A little bit in a different Edutech field, and in which field exactly I will present today so that you understand what Evulpo is doing since 3 years. So we were founded exactly 3 years ago. I mean, I want to start this small presentation with some, let's say, stuff that I experienced in childhood, and I think all of us experienced these things during our childhood and during our teenage years. We were quite stressed with school topics. Even if I, for example, or also Felix, I guess, or also you, Marco, we were good students, nevertheless we were stressed out, of course, because of reading stuff that we had to learn when we were 7 years old, or because of calculations where suddenly letters were in the calculations. This stressed us out, or when we had the last exam of the high school, and that was important for going to university or not. So we were stressed out, and this was, for me, let's say, quite an important experience, this stress that I had and that a lot of my friends had. So that, for example, in the next step, I founded a tutoring school in 2017. So I studied, I did a PhD in history of philosophy, and next to that, in parallel, I founded my first company together with Jonas and Manuel. It was a tutoring school, it still is a tutoring school, in the heart of Zurich, at the Bellevue, the Schlaumacher. It was a successful tutoring school and still is. And there we said, hey guys, we have to reduce a little bit the stress of these people that have big exams in front of them or homework that they can't solve, etc., etc. Back then, after Schlaumacher was profitable, for example, Dario was coming in and was saying, hey Christian, we have to build another tutoring school, but a global one, and we have to do video call. And then I said, no, video call is done by some Austrian guys, for example, guys like Felix. And I said, this is not scalable, my friend. We have to do something different. And that's when then we discussed that we do something different to solve this problem that all the kids in school have, to solve this stress, to reduce the stress, to make the people a little bit smarter and pass their exams successfully. How exactly now this solution was built? It's really simple, I have to say. I mean, here on this slide you see more or less everything. We analyzed the curriculum of a country, and then in the next step we analyzed the curricula of a lot of countries. We are online in 7 countries, and we analyzed what exactly do they have to learn in math, and what do they have to learn in their mother language, and in physics, and in history, and so on, between the 3rd grade and end of high school. What exactly do they have to learn? And then we created a huge list of topics that they have to learn between the ages 9 and 19. And for every single topic, we created a video, we created a summary, and we created some exercises so that you can understand the topics that you have in school. And if you come home and you say, I'm so stressed, then you can say, you open the laptop, you have the video for the topic that stresses you out, you can read the summary, you can do some exercises, and you get help with the school topics. This material is presented in a personalized way on one hand, and this material is presented in a motivating way on the other hand. I talk about this a little bit more detail later on. I mean, here we can be really fast. I mean, per country where we are online in 7 countries, as I said. We have around 1,800 videos, 1,700 summaries, and around 25,000 exercises, all, again, radically localized according to the curriculum of the specific country. We have a personalized learning experience. That means, of course, a lot. I give later on an example. And we have a motivating learning experience. That means also a lot. And I can show this now in an example with a tool, with a feature that we released a few days ago. You see this cute fox on the left side. It's Evulpo. So again, Evulpo, from the Latin origin, we had the word. Evulpo is a feature that we created. Evulpo was fed with our content. Evulpo also was connected with ChatGPT, for example, and with other large language models. And Evulpo jumps in if you deal with our learning material. So if you, for example, read a summary, or if you, for example, do some exercises, then suddenly Evulpo jumps in and says, hey, Marco, tell me. You have now learned this lesson about Napoleon. Can you summarize? Who was Napoleon? Can you tell something about Napoleon? And then we say to Evulpo, yeah, you know, Napoleon was a really important emperor, and so on, and so on, and so on. And then Evulpo says, oh, Marco, you're a smart guy, but you missed some stuff. I have here another lesson about the French Revolution. Let's have a look at this. So Evulpo is your personal guide through the learning material. So it's a combination of quite sophisticated tech on one side, and classical good quality content that was proved by experts on the other side that helps to solve all the school problems that you might have. These are the countries where we are online. So 6 languages, 7 countries. We are online there in these 7 countries since mid this year, since around April. And we address around 30 million students. We will go soon in other countries also, in the countries that you see, for example, here. For example, Portugal, to give one input, was chosen because of the Portuguese language, of course. This gives us a really good basis for creating the material for the South American content, and with Spain, we have a similar case. For example, with the Spain content, you cannot go directly with this specific content to Mexico, but you can change the content, you can adapt the content, and then you can go live in Mexico. We create money in 3 ways. It's a freemium model, so for us it's really important that you can learn without paying. So we unlock the potential of every student, even if the student has no money at all. You can use Evulpo for free. You can go online later on, and then you watch some videos, you read some summaries, but you get blocked from time to time. For example, if you make too many mistakes in the exercise area and all what you say about Napoleon is wrong, then we say, hey, look, Marco, come back tomorrow, or make a subscription. The same offer we have towards schools where a principal or a teacher, so not mom and dad, like in the case of, for example, Marco, where the principal or a teacher can say, I buy Evulpo Unlimited for the whole school or for the whole class. And third revenue stream, we have cooperations with institutions, because I thought, for example, and my co-founders Jonas and Manuel, we said it's good to learn math, etc., or languages, and so on, but it's also important to learn something, for example, about fake news or quality journalism or stuff like this. And then we contacted, sometimes we contacted them, sometimes they contacted us. We contacted, in that case, a media company, the TX Group in Switzerland, for example, and they pay us for a yearly fee that we create the content, let's say, about fake news, and they can present their brand within these contexts. So we could, in theory, since, like I said in the beginning, it's a radically scalable product, we could be, if we want so, be profitable by the end of next year. And I really would be happy to talk with some of you guys probably about the KPIs that I mentioned here or other KPIs. At the moment, we are not fundraising. We plan our Series A, let's say in the beginning 25. Nevertheless, probably there are some discussions where we can begin to discuss about this option that you have. So, by the end of this decade, and with this I want to close, I see I have 20 seconds. By the end of this decade, we will be in, let's say, most of the big countries in this world, always with the goal to reduce the stress that you have in school and to make the world a little bit smarter. So here are my contact details. Of course, you can find me on LinkedIn, etc. You can also write me an email, and probably soon we have a first discussion. Thanks a lot for the attention.